Howdy, folks. This is just a reminder that if you like this content, you can help me out by liking, commenting, and especially by subscribing. And be sure to hit the bell notification so you always get notified whenever I have a new video. Hope you enjoy this.
All right, time for questions. Numero uno comes from Mike. I mean no disrespect with this question. I
Good start.
All right, there we go, Mike. Thank you. I noticed a few weeks ago that Jimmy was leaving the G off of words like teaching or reasoning and others. I can only assume that this is the normal dialect in Arkansas.
Yep.
Question: is this change due to a conscious effort to return to his, quote, roots? Or is this an outcome of being immersed back in the Arkansas dialect through local conversations? Love Mysterious World and Si's awkward dad joke sense of humor. I think you might be mischaracterizing that, Mike, but thank you very much.
I've been getting a lot of comments about this, and overwhelmingly the comments have been positive. But basically, I moved out to California, 31 years ago, and I deliberately suppressed Southern elements in my speech. I didn't suppress all of them. I would still say things like sola scriptura instead of sola scriptura. But I did broadly suppress them. And so when I moved back to Arkansas, I decided I'm embracing the way folks speak in Arkansas. I'm back home, and so I'm going to talk this way. I could have let it emerge over the course of time, but I decided that would just stretch it out. It would make the transition harder for people, and it would be inconsistent, and it would go back and forth. And so I decided to just consciously flip the switch and go back to, a typical Arkansas mode of speech. And part of that, which I was surprised, this is the thing I get most in the comments, is people notice the so-called G drops.
Oh, yeah.
And this is where you have a word that is in written form ends in ing, and you don't pronounce the G. But the thing is, there's two things. The first is there's no actual G there. That's just a writing convention in English, but there's no G sound. We don't say teaching or reasoning. What that actually is a nasalization of the N sound. And so instead of saying teaching, you say teaching. And so you're pushing some of the air through your nose. But I have been dropping those, so-called dropping them, but really it's just not nasalizing the N. But I was doing that anyway on a bunch of stuff. I'm doing it more consistently now, but I was surprised that that's what leaps out to folks, because there are a bunch of other aspects of what I'm doing too, that are markers for like a Northwest Arkansas Ozark accent. Another one is deasperization of final plosives, which is plosives are letters like P and D and T and K. And when they appear on the ends of words, you don't aspirate them the same way. So instead of saying stop, you would just say stop. Oh. You can hear the difference between stop with the plosive sound and stop. Another one is dropping final plosives when they're part of a consonant cluster. So like D is a plosive, and so but N is a consonant. And so in the word and, you've got a consonant cluster there at the end, and you tend to drop the plosive. So and becomes an. Jill and John came over. Then there's the pen-pen merger, which is so natural to me, it's even hard for me to pronounce it. But basically, there's a vowel shift when you have the letter E before a liquid consonant, which is like N or M, and so you pronounce, if I can do it right, in standard English or in non-Northwest Arkansas English, P-E-N, pen, gets pronounced the same as P-I-N, pin. And so I'm doing that. And then there's also a vowel shift that's kind of interesting, which is the vowel for I in like Northeastern English, it gets pronounced I. In broadly Southern English, it gets pronounced ah. And in Northwest Arkansas, it's kind of a fusion of the two, where you start with the broader ah, but then it transitions into the I sound. So like my wife.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so there's a bunch going on there, but I decided I'm gonna make the switch, and I'm gonna flip the switch, and it'll become natural. It's already becoming natural for me. My internal monologue has shifted, but people get used to it, and it'll just be, oh, this is the way Jimmy Akin talks.
Ah, very well. Thank you very much, Mike, for the question. I got to tell you, Darren almost hit the dump button when you said deaspiration of final plosives. He was just about to hit the dump button, but then he realized, oh, he's not swearing. That's
Nope.
just regular talk.
And before we go, just one more reminder that if you like what you've watched, you can help me out by liking, commenting, and especially by subscribing. I'm trying to grow my channel, and I'd really appreciate your help. Thank you, and God bless you.